We've been focusing on the nuclear fallout aspect of the earthquake tragedy in Japan and what it means for the rest of the world's energy options. Joining us now on the phone from London is Southern Company's CEO Tom Fanning. That company does have nuclear reactors up and running here in the U.S. Tom, let me ask you, first of all, about all of the fears, all of the concern. Do you think that they'll get everything under control in Japan?
Well, they're managing it as best they can right now. And I would be remiss, Matt, if I didn't say our thoughts and prayers go out to those folks. They're doing as well as they can. What's interesting about the situation is that they have the combination of an earthquake. All the reactors there handled themselves and tried to shut down in what's called a scram. But what's caused all the problems has been the following tsunami, and particularly with the plants in question, they have effectively cut off the power supply, which has hurt their ability to send cooling water to the reactors. But the Japanese have taken effective steps and are managing the situation right now.
I wonder what you can say about your nuclear reactors here. I mean, do you think that you have fail-safe mechanisms in place that would save us from any kind of meltdown, even if there were an earthquake and a tsunami coming over the eastern coast of the U.S.?
Yes, all of our nuclear fleet is designed well in excess of any, we think, risk tolerances with respect to any seismic activity or certainly any sort of flooding, anything like a tsunami. You must remember that Southern Company's nuclear fleet is not in a seismic-sensitive area of the United States, nor are we on any coastlines or exposed to anything like a tsunami.
Hey, Tom, it's Adam Johnson. Question for you. It sounds like one of the problems, if not the problem, was that the diesel-based redundant cooling systems, in other words, the diesel engine that pumps cooling water into the vital area, that is what broke down. So when we talk about redundancy, they thought they had redundancy, and the Japanese are famous for being redundant. So do we have any kind of issue?
Well, I don't think you got to understand the unique circumstance. It's the worst natural disaster ever to hit, with the earthquake and the tsunami coming right after it. We don't have those conditions in the United States. You may know that Southern Company is leading the United States in a renaissance of nuclear and are proposing to build 2 new reactors at our Vogtle site. That technical design does not require the type of backup diesel generator. And in fact, the brand new design that we're proposing, which has been through preliminary reviews at the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, uses a much more what's called a passive safety design, which will allow the force of gravity to add water to the reactor area in the event of an emergency.
Let me ask you, though, Tom, because surely the people in Japan also didn't expect their fail-safes not to work. You never know what could happen, whether it's a tsunami, an earthquake, or, God forbid, something else. What's the fallout? What's the possible fallout if you have the core melt through the encasement, through the cement? I mean, what could happen to the people in Japan if this radiation gets out there and leaks?
Well, obviously, that would be a catastrophe, and we would have to really reassess, kind of how to protect the people of Japan. But my sense is that in our situation, that event is so unlikely that our track record of our fleet has been outstanding, and we expect it will be going forward.
Isn't it a concern, though? I mean, if you've got the kind of power source, which normally we think of as great because it's cheaper and cleaner than other power sources, but if it requires the occasional evacuation of 20 square kilometer areas and fear for not only a few, but hundreds, even thousands of human lives, isn't that a giant concern?
Well, certainly there's always a concern for public safety. But like I say, the history of the nuclear fleet in the United States and currently our operating reality has been outstanding. And we just don't think, when you consider particularly the fleet that Southern Company runs in the Southeast, we are not exposed at all to any seismic activity of any degree, nor to any sort of natural condition like a tsunami. We're mostly located inland. So those kind of conditions are historic in their uniqueness over there. and don't think they would apply to our side.
Do you expect then, Tom, to continue with an expansion here? I mean, you're one of the biggest nuclear energy producers in the world. Do you want to grow the amount of energy you're producing from nuclear sources?
Absolutely. We think it is absolutely in the national interest to bring all the sources of energy there to supply this nation's economic future. That means nuclear, it means 21st century coal, it means natural gas, renewables, and energy efficiency. It is absolutely critical for us to maintain our momentum and continue to build out this fleet.
What do you think about the concerns that have been voiced in Congress? Representative Markey saying the NRC should not approve your new reactor design until certain questions have been answered about its ability to withstand earthquakes, regardless of what kind of seismic area it's in. What's your response to the congressman this morning?
Well, the design that we're building, the 8,000, has already been through a preliminary process, which has proved, we think, in the public interest that its safety characteristics are outstanding. And in fact, it is the newest, best design available to meet our nation's energy needs. I think considering the new technology that we're talking about, proven, we think, through lots of study to be the best available, plus when you consider the kind of safe environment we operate in, it is absolutely imperative not to react with a moratorium or a delay. We should go forward.
All right. Hey, Tom, thanks for joining us. Tom Fanning there, the CEO of Southern Company, calling in from London.